Do you know what happens when you play a country song backwards? Anyone? When you play a country song backwards? No. Your dog comes back, your wife comes back, and your truck isn't broken anymore. The joke is that most country songs are singing about, like, my dog ran away, my wife left me, my truck's broken. It's just a joke. It depends on what type of country you would be listening to. All right, so everyone, let's look at slide 4. And if you're not looking at slide 4, you are now. Haha. I'm still waiting for Kamal, Emery, Carolina, like you guys that are still logging in. Let's get logged in, please. Good morning.
Could I please have Kamal to the Phoenix office?
What if I say no?
Kamal to the Phoenix office. Thank you.
All right, so in slide 4, we're trying to figure out which of these equations need Mark to accurately do what? What is it asking us to do? We're relating B to C, right? We're relating B to C. Which is bigger, B or C? B. So if we're talking about C, it's going to be a lesser percent than 100, right? Because it's smaller. It got smaller. Can I use this 100 minus 72? Why not, Sophie? Donna? We need decimal forms. They don't have a percent sign here. So these numbers aren't the numbers that we should be working with. Percent, like Donna just reminded us, is out of 100, so it divides by 100, and it turns into a decimal form. So would it be accurate if we move on to the second one to say C is 0.28 of B? Well, to help us think through that, if I know 72%, what percent is left? 28. And as a decimal, since 28%, it is 0.28. So, would it be true to say C is 0.28 or C is 28% of B? Yeah. Lane, you were totally not paying attention, bro. Join me. We're having math class. Would it be accurate to say that 72% of B, because that's what 0.72 is, right? That's 72% of B is equal to C? No, because C's that little chunk, right? So that would not be right. What about 1 minus 0.72 of B? What about that fourth one here? Why? What's 1 minus 0.72? That's the 0.28 that's right up here. This leaves us with 28%, and it's showing us the subtraction that happened. The 1 is your 100%. 0.72 is your 72%. So yeah, this one would work also. What about C? C equals B minus 0.72. So, falling in the trap door. It would work if I put a hello. It would work if there was a B on the 72%. Because it needs to be 72% of B. And 0.72 is not. That's just a number. If it's not attached to anything, it's just a number. Right? Up here, 0.28B, that's a percent because it's attached to the B. It's saying 28% of something. This is just 0.72. It's just a number. So the last one, 1B, the whole thing, minus 0.72 of B, would that work? Yes. So go ahead and mark those on slide 4 so I don't get concerned about things looking like wrong answers. And keep going because, yeah, I unsynced you now. And guys, if you had already answered slide 5, double check what you have for it now that we're a bit smarter. And that's where we're also going to be using that worksheet, right? Or sorry, worksheet is next slide after that. I should probably check who's here and not. Okay, thank you. I mean, that's a bummer, but like, thanks for letting me know. Sam, do your math. If you can't jam and do your math, we can't jam. Alright, so I think it's just Ashley and Carolina that we're missing, right? This is the same thing as this. Right? This one just shows the subtraction, but they're the same. So that one would get multiplied itself. And then you follow the track here. That looks like 72%. It looks like it's right, but it needs to be 72% of B. So actually, the last one is what shows us 100% of B minus 72% of B. Does that make sense? So all the equations? This is a different one than we did yesterday. Sorry, what do you... So, perfect timing, because this is what I want to talk about now. I think it's slide 5? Slide 6? Slide 6. If each new rectangle is 21% longer. What?
It's slide 5.
Slide 5. If you're not looking at it, you could.
Slide 5.
This is what I want to go over first, now. Because yours is probably this, right? Yeah. So, here, we talked yesterday about the shortcut we could take. Guys, we could figure out 10%. We could figure out 1%. From there, we could figure out 21%. Or, there's a quicker way. If we increase by 21%...
Is this anyone's backpack? It was in the corner of my classroom.
Huh.
Okay. It's not yours? Someone said it's probably yours.
Is it Wesley went to your room? Yeah, but I don't think that's it. So, if we increase by 21%, what percent are we actually at now if we increased by 21%? Anybody? 121%. So, how do I write 121% as a decimal so I can do math with it? Right? 1.21, and then you can just multiply by whatever length you had before. So 1.21 times 120, or 1.21 times 50, or 1.21. It's quicker. The 10% technique is really good, especially when you're trying to calculate a tip. Like when you're out at dinner. Figure out 10%, double it, that's what you should tip. Shout out to Emery. I do still have this in case you're working. I want to go take it down and get it laminated. So I do still have this. I want to go get it laminated and keep it safe forever. So, guys, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the 10% technique. But sometimes we want to go faster. Right? So here we can do that to calculate these. And then on this screen, it asks us to write out the equation. And this is slide 6 now. Sophie? And then you added it. So what Sophie's saying 100% works, but again, is one step longer than it needs to be. Sophie said what she did is 0.21 times, let's do this one because I'm just writing down here, times what we had before. That'll tell us the increase, and then we add it. Okay, that works. It's just one step longer. So here's where, on slide 6 though, it wants us to tell it what is the one step, the way we could get there. How do we, now, or you could write out exactly what you just said. So if you have like 0.21 times whatever, and then, but let's make it easier. So we could write out exactly what Sophie just talked about, a 0.21 of B, since they say, C is the new length. But then we need to add that to the original B, because we did 21% of B plus the original. Or, what could I write? Yeah, because there's really a 1 here for 100%. So we could say C, the new length, is 121% of the B. So there are multiple things that will work on that one. So if we look at your worksheet where we have a 16% increase, I want you to turn to your neighbor and talk about what equation we could use there for the new will be what. So talk to your neighbor. How could we write that out as an equation just like what we just did on that slide? Because then I'm getting out random cards. So yeah, talk to your neighbor. I'm not just going to keep calling on Sophie all class. You and I have basically just been talking back and forth. I'm getting cards out. You what? Yeah. So, Arfon, what do you think? The new rectangles here with the 16% increase, what equation could I set up?
16 divided by 100.
So we could do that first to figure out, okay, 16 divided by 100, that decimal will be 0.16, K.
Then multiply it by what we have, like 100 centimeters.
Just the 0.16? Like, you're not saying anything wrong. I'm just double checking.
Yeah.
Yeah? So we could do 0.16 times the old, right? Like whatever we had. And then what are we going to do? Because I have to increase that. How do we increase things? We got to add with what we had, right? What the old one was. Or, Bethany, can you tell me how I could write that out in like a single step equation? How do I say I have 100% and added on an extra 16%? What percent are we actually at now? If I had 100% and I added 16 on, what percent are we actually at? 116%. How do I write 116% as a decimal? Raiden? 1.16 or 1.16 times whatever you got, whatever the original is. So here, 1.16 times 100, what do we get? Yeah, 116, because literally 16% would just add on 16. So guys, in our calculators, the shortcut that we could be taking now is 100% plus 16%. Then we got to divide all that by, or if you just like practice this enough that you learn this and your Khan Academy is asking you these exact questions, 1.16 is my 116%, because percent we divided by 100, times what I had to start, so times 75. This should be 87, and I can do it again, except instead of 75, now I'm starting at 150. 174. So guys, on your Khan Academy, it asks you questions exactly like this. I need to pick 2 equations or pick as many as apply, right, like on your Khan homework. So we could say C is 1.16 times the B, or we could have taken the slightly slower and do 1 plus 0.16 times B. But wait, there's more. If you call now, we'll double your orgo. What if we get 16% shorter? Turn to your neighbor and talk about how we could write out that equation if C is 16% shorter than B. Chat with each other for a moment. We'll go over that and then... Matt, your card came up and I feel kind of bad because you don't have a partner to talk to, but can you help me? We're getting 16% shorter. What percent do we start at? Start at 100. I'm going to do the slower method first. So 100% is 1, right? How do I do 16% shorter? Subtract what? Yeah, because 16% is 0.16. Or if we want to just do that in one step, if you get 16% shorter, what percent do you still have? Ooh, 0.84 times whatever we had to start would give us our new length. And that feels like the most efficient way. This works. It's just a little bit slower. This feels like the most efficient way. Combine into a single percent, write it as a decimal, and then calculate. You have the remaining 8 minutes that you can switch over and work on Khan. Love Sal Khan. Right. Hear his random voice. Who what?
Can we show like the Phoenix song?
We'll do that at Forum. I'm going to check Khan Academy for you guys here in a moment.
We have a Phoenix?
Mr. Flynn had an AI. He created a Phoenix song using an AI.
That's so easy to do. I just go and
Hey, potty mouth.
No, like I can just see.
No, but you said the bad word.
Simple.
How is that negative 14 attached to the x? Is there addition between it, or it's multiplication? How do we undo multiplication?
Wait, no. Okay, so I can ban you.
So, what you're going to do on both sides is division. Negative 14. But yes, because we want to get rid of that negative 14, and to get rid of something that is multiplying, we divide. If you wrote this out on paper, I feel like it would make more sense, because what we're used to writing out is I'm going to divide by negative 14, and negative 14 over negative 14 is 1.
I was thinking plus.
Because the minus is making a trapdoor there, but that's not a minus. It's not minusing from x. It's negative 14 timesing by the x. Can I show your screen? Or actually, keep on that screen for a second. Hey, great question from Sophie that we're going to go over that's going to help you with the one-step equations homework that you have in Khan Academy, because this is a big trapdoor. So major thanks to Sophie for pointing out the trapdoor, so maybe we can avoid it. I don't really care to take everybody. Who's monitoring them? Whatever. Kygo? It's just this piano player. Where are you at?
Wait, is it if I'm on my Chromebook or if it's on if I'm on the Worthington?
I think it's just if you're on connected, but maybe not. Alright, I might just write it on the screen. I wanted it to look like exactly how you'll see it in... So I'm just going to have to write it so you can navigate off it if you want. So, what Sophie's looking at, and if you choose to not pay attention right now, that's not a great choice, but, you're in charge of your life. Womp womp. So, this is a major trapdoor because it looks like minus. It's not minus. There's nothing in front of the minus for it to take away from, so this is not minus. It's what? It's what? It's negative! But that doesn't mean we add. Because that negative number is attached to x. How? So since it's multiplying, what do we want to do to get it by itself? Divide. So guys, this is exactly what you're going to be seeing on the one-step inequalities homework. Which, by the way, because you don't have to turn in the paper homework, I'm going to give you guys till Sunday night to get stuff done. So if you're a little behind from this week, use the weekend. And then you have Monday. You have a 3-day weekend. But I'm probably going to update math Monday morning. Because I'm still going to work, even though I'm at home. I'm going to get school stuff done. So Monday morning, I'll probably be updating math to match what we have done or haven't done. Now here's the problem though. If you go into the help tools with Khan, and guys, if you're not listening, you really need to come back to me right now. When we multiply or divide with negative numbers, because they're negative and they're the opposite of what we normally do, division by a negative messes things up. And when this is an equal sign, we never notice this because what it meant, the equals is equals. But what it does for an inequality, anyone know? Anyone do this activity yet? Did you know what happens? The inequality symbol flips around. So this, that started as x is greater than, becomes x is less than. And again, Khan Academy has the help tools built in. If you click on an answer and it's wrong, it only tells you why it's wrong, but I watch you guys not read that. I watch you guys get it wrong and just move right on. Guys, when you get it wrong, read what it says, and then maybe click the hint and look at their step-by-step. Their step-by-step is really, really helpful. So whatever -3 divided by -14 comes out to be, that would be our answer, but it's now going to be x is less than whatever number that is. All right, let's check progress. You guys think we'll have made it far enough to fill up the first ring?
No. Yeah. Maybe not. Probably not. I'd say 75%. I would say minimum. Wow, okay. I'm doing 90s for nothing.
So it looks like a lot of us still need to do our homework for this week. Yeah, and I don't even hardly need to click on that. Well, no, they're as of yesterday, but I think did we forget in 3A? Maybe, but yeah, guys, that's not good. It's not great.
Are we in the winning? No.
I mean, right now, but 3A hasn't checked, and quite frankly, I was looking at Khan this morning. Some of you have done nothing. Some of you have done 0 minutes in Khan Academy this week. If that's you, take some ownership and do your homework. Yeah, do you want to see where the other classes are?
Oh, yeah.
So 1B's at 50%. 3B's already in ring 2. Because they've done their homework. They want to win.
Wait, are we doing math 7 and 8 and
It's not my fault.
No, it's you guys versus 1A versus 3A.
Yes. I did it.
So, reminder to put it up here one more time. Hey,
I dare you to check it again.
hey friends. Reminder just to post it up here one more time. What's due are the percent problems activity and equivalent expressions with percent problems. Those two are what need done and are going to go into math. But the other ones that are there, you can do those also. I need to push those due dates into next week, because I think right now they look like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Like, I'm going to change those due dates. They'll be due next week. But you guys know, like, homework is due Friday, right? So, paper homework, if you haven't turned in your paper homework, 7, 1, 3, 4, and 5, turn those in. I'm probably going to put those in math today right after school during staff meeting. But your Khan Academy, I will give you until Monday morning to get done. And on that, head to Creative Start. Have a great day, guys.
It's like, I gotta do that. I didn't have to do that.
Yes.
People look at my computer, they don't realize that the keyboard can come off, so it doesn't